ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أما بعد, our book Al-Farq Bayna An-Naseehah Wat-Ta'yir was written by Al-Hafiz Ibn Rajab. It's a very, very brief book, and in it he tries to differentiate between An-Naseehah, giving good advice, and At-Tibyān, insulting somebody upon his mistakes. The two of them appear very similar, but they are completely different. You want to advise somebody upon a mistake that he committed. You have an intention to correct him. You have an intention that he should change for the better. It is different from one who has an intention of disgrace. He has an intention of insult. That is the areas of difference. But there is something that connects the two of them. And that is the fact that if you give Naseehah, you will mention the person's mistake. If you make ta'yir, you will also mention his mistake. But the difference between the two is that in An-Naseehah, the reason for mentioning his mistake is different from the reason for mentioning his mistake when you are making a ta'yir, when you are insulting him. This happens a lot. So sometimes someone will make a ta'yir. He wants you to accept it as Naseehah. And sometimes someone will make Naseehah. The person receiving the Naseehah will think that they are making a ta'yir. So it requires us to, the Imām Rahimahullah Ibn Rajab made this entire book to differentiate between Naseehah and what At-Tibyān. The last discussion we had were about two groups of people on page 14. The first one, he says, مَنْ عُرِفَ مِنْهُ أَنَّهُ أَرَادَ بِرَدِّهِ عَلَى الْعُلَمَاءِ النَّصِيحَةَ لِلَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ فَإِنَّهُ يَجِبُ أَنْ يُعَمَلَ بِالْإِكْرَامِ وَالِاحْتِرَامِ وَالتَّعْظِيمِ. The first group of people are those who عُرِفَ مِنْهُ أَنَّهُ أَرَادَ بِرَدِّهِ عَلَى الْعُلَمَاءِ. It was known from him that what he intends in his making a rad, in his mentioning the mistakes of the scholars, what he intends is An-Naseehah. He just wants to correct the mistake. He just wants us to know what is correct. Lillah, regarding the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and for the sake of Allah alone. He said, Rahimahullah, wa rasulihi. He also intends to protect the deen that was brought by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we recognize this kind of a person, he said, يَجِبُ أَنْ يُعَامَلَ بِالْإِكْرَامِ وَالِاحْتِرَامِ وَالتَّعْظِيمِ. This kind of a person who just wants to correct a mistake for the sake of Allah, it is compulsory that يُعَامَلَ بِالْإِكْرَامِ. He should be treated with ikram, with respect, وَالِاحْتِرَامِ, with esteem, وَالتَّعْظِيمِ. We should show him some honor. We should show him some honor, nobility, that this is a good job you are doing. Why? He intends nasihatan lillahi wa rasulihi. The second group of people says, وَمَنْ عُرِفَ مِنْهُ أَنَّهُ أَرَادَ بِرَدِّهِ عَلَيْهِمْ التَّنَقُّصَ وَالذَّمَّ وَإِظْهَارَ الْعَيْبِ فَإِنَّهُ يستحق أن يقابل بالعقوبة ليرتدع هو ونظراؤه عن هذه الرذائل المحرمة. He said, Rahimahullah, the second group of people, Man urifa minhu annahu arada bi raddihi At-Tanaqqusa was the group of people who Urifa minhu, it became known from him, Annahu arada biradi, that all that he intends with his correcting the scholars, his refuting the scholars, mentioning their mistakes, what he intends is nothing other than at-tanaqqus. He wants to expose their default. That's all that he intends. With them, he wants to direct blame to them. وَإِظْهَارَ الْعَيْبِ, he wants to show their shortcomings. That is all that he intends. This kind of a person, يَسْتَحِقُّ أَن يُقَابَلَ بِالْعُقُوبَةِ, he deserves to be faced with uquba, some punishment. He saw the mistake truly. There was actually a mistake, but instead of correcting the mistake, all that he intends is just abuse, insult, blame. That's all he intends. May Allah protect us. The Shaykh says, فَإِنَّهُ يَسْتَحِقُّ أَن يُقَابَلَ بِالْعُقُوبَةِ. This kind of a person should be faced with some sort of a punishment. لِيَرْتَدِعَ هُوَ وَنُظَرَاؤُهُ, so that he himself and others like him, so that he and others like him, they will definitely move away. They will definitely hold back. And هذه الرذائل, away from this evil practice of theirs, al-muharrama, something that Allah has prohibited. So when we give them some sort of a punishment, maybe the punishment will come by way of announcing that they are actually ignorant people. Maybe if it were in a country or region of Islam, they may be flogged some strokes of the cane. لِيَرْتَدِعُوا, so that these kinds of people, they can move away and hold back. And هَذِهِ الرَّذَائِلَ الْمُحَرَّمَةِ, away from this demeaning behavior that Allah has prohibited. What is that demeaning behavior that Allah has prohibited? أَن يَرُدَّ عَلَىٰ أَهْلِ الْعِلْمِ وَلَا يُرِيدُ شَيْئًا مِنْ ذَلِكَ إِلَّا التَّنَقُّصَ وَالذَّمِّ وَإِظْهَارَ الْعَيْبِ. He is wreaking refutation, rad, upon ulama. And all that he intends is insult, abuse, disgrace. Now someone can ask, how do you know the difference between the first group and the second group? Ibn Rajab said, rahimahullah, وَيُعْرَفُ هَذَا الْقَصْدُ, that intention will become known تَارَةً بِإِقْرَارِ الرَّادِّ وَاعْتِرَافِهِ, by the actual mentioning of the person making the rod himself. You hear him say, we don't want him to speak again, we want to disgrace him. You will hear him say, oh, so that's your intention. It's like two young boys fighting in primary school. One will say, I want to show him that I have more power than him. That's the intention. So I want to disgrace him. I want to do this. Sometimes we know it. Taratan bi-iqrari ar-rad, by the saying of the person making that rad against the scholar. He can say, oh, Al-Albani rahimahullah is making tasheeh and tadif, and I don't like him, and I don't. One of the scholars, Shaykh Ali Hassan Abdul Hamid Al-Halabi, he has a book in 2 volumes, his Su'alat with Al-Imam Al-Albani rahimahullah. So in it he was mentioning how sometimes great scholars like this still have enemies amongst people who ascribe to the Sunnah. So he mentioned someone in one of the cities in the Muslim world. Let me not also mention it, because that was how he said it. He said, this person, if you ask him about his teachers, a good number of them are from the students of Al-Imam Al-Albani. So when he's talking about them, he say Shaykh Fulan, Shaykh Fulan, Shaykh Fulan, Shaykh Fulan. But when he wants to mention Al-Imam Al-Albani, he say Albani, Albani, Albani. Just because of the book he has, just because of hatred he has. This kind of a thing exists very well. It even exists for the Anbiya and Rusul. those who will find inside their heart hatred against them. So for the people of the Sunnah too, and the scholars of the people of the Sunnah, they have people like this. They just don't like them. They just want to announce their fault. They just want to mention this, that. So sometimes it is that person making rad. The rad is just a platform for him to begin to insult the learned person. So sometimes it is he who will say it. وَاعْتِرَافِهِ. It is he who will acknowledge that, it is he who will confess it. That I want to disgrace him. I want to show to the whole world that this Albani they are talking about, all this Shaykh, all this. So by that we know his intention. وَتَارَةً بِقَرَائِنَ تُحِيطُ بِفِعْلِهِ وَقَوْلِهِ. At other times, the way we know them is some other things that will be connected to the statements and his actions. He'll be doing things that say, if this man is sincere, he will not do this. If he was actually intending to correct the mistake rather than insult the Imam, he will not behave like this. There will be qara'in, indicators that will show that this intention is bad. Because some people can say, did he open his mind? We did not open his mind. But we have heard him. We have also seen him. If it was pure intention of correcting, he will not behave like this. He will not say this. He will not say this. He will not say this. Just similar to what Allah told the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam about munafiqun. He says, وَلَا تَعْرِفَنَّهُمْ فِي لَحْنِ الْقَوْلِ. One of the ways the Prophet will know munafiqun was when they speak, their speeches will be speeches of error. Woman sasiso, woman sasise. So it will be clear that ani and you dalo jeman sasiso, ani and you dalo jeman sasise. So it will be clear in the process of giving the rod. He will make mistakes that if the intention is good, he will not say things like this. If the intention is not to just disgrace the Shaykh, he will not say things like this. If it is just to correct that mistake, he will not say things like this. So he says, وَيُعْرَفُ هَذَا الْقَصْدُ. That intention can be known. He's saying that because some people say, how do you now know the intention? يُعْرَفُ الْقَصْدُ تَارَةً بِإِقْرَارِ الرَّادِّ وَاعْتِرَافِهِ. By the person making the rod, he himself will be the one to announce and acknowledge that he is doing it for so reason. Then we know his intentions. Or that بِقَرَائِنَ تُحِيطُ بِفِعْلِهِ وَقَوْلِهِ. With some things connected to his actions and his speeches, we know that he was not sincere. So these are the two groups of people. He mentioned the third group. Those who they didn't write anything, they didn't act. They did not say anything and they did not act. They are just writing it. They are just writing. And we have not seen anything like he said. He says, وَأَمَّا فِي التَّصَانِيفِ وَفِي الْبَحْثِ وَجَبَ حَمْلُ كَلَامِهِ عَلَى الْأَوَّلِ. If he just wrote something, Shaykh so said that this hadith is sahih. But you had to say, no, this hadith is da'if. What are the evidences? This. He just wrote it. He didn't say it. And he didn't act it. There, it may be difficult to actually point out that he was not sincere, unless he used vulgar words in the writing. Otherwise, the Shaykh says, rahimahullah, wajaba hamlu kalamihi alal awwal. It is compulsory for us to think that, no, what he has written here is okay. He was only trying to correct the Shaykh, and the intention is sincere. We add him to the group 1. وَمَنْ حَمَلَ كَلَامَهُ عَلَى غَيْرِ ذَلِكَ. Whoever, despite not seeing any mistake by this brother or something to show that he was not sincere, if you now say, no, he was not sincere, then we begin to blame you. How do you know that he was not sincere? Prove to us that he was not sincere. These were the lessons in the last class. I just want to bring us to today, because we have read all of these that we are talking about. Ibn Rajab said, rahimahullah, وَمِنْ هَذَا الْبَابِ. From the aspects of giving nasiha or making at-ta'ir is أَنْ يُقَالَ لِلرَّجُلِ فِي وَجْهِهِ ma yakrahuhu. Is that someone comes to say to a man right in front of him something that that man hates. The other one, he said it behind him, or he wrote it behind him. We have known the various rulings depending on the conditions, depending on what the person has written, depending on his intentions. We have known that one. But this time he comes to meet you to your face. He said, وَمِنْ هَذَا الْبَابِ أَنْ يُقَالَ لِلرَّجُلِ فِي وَجْهِهِ مَا يَكْرَهُ. The man comes to say to his face something that he dislikes. He said, rahimahullah, فَإِنْ كَانَ هَذَا عَلَى وَجْهِ النُّصْحِ فَهُوَ حَسَنٌ. If what he has said to you face to face, if it is عَلَى وَجْهِ النُّصْحِ, if it is from the aspects of giving you advice, فَهُوَ حَسَنٌ, this is good. Abu Abdullah, I saw this matter like this. You did like this. You were not supposed to do like this. If you had done like this, maybe it would have been better. In fact, to do like this is wrong. There is a hadith, there is a athar, there is this, is talking like this. He said, rahimahullah, فَهُوَ حَسَنٌ. This is very good. وَقَدْ قَالَ بَعْضُ السَّلَفِ لِبَعْضِ إِخْوَانِهِ. One of the early Muslims had said to some of his colleagues and his students, he says, rahimahullah, لا تنصحني حتى تقول في وجهي ما أكره. You would not have truly been sincere to me until you say to me, face to face to me, something that I don't like, meaning from my mistakes. You will not be a sincere person to me if you cannot tell me my mistakes. If I make a mistake, you tell me, you made one mistake here, you did like this, you did like this. Maybe it should have been done like this. Why not think of it like this? You have a friend, you have a colleague, you are together. You can't say to him, he will not like it, but you want to correct him. This is the intention. You want to explain to him, this is the intention. Why are you like this? Try to do it like this. Why not like this? Why shouldn't it be like this? Maybe if it is like this. So he said, rahimahullah, la tansahni, you would not have given me any advice. Do not do it. Until and unless taqula fi wajhi ma akrahu. You say to me face to face, tell me my mistakes. And that is from the basis of the Islam that we all affirm. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that al-mu'minu mir'atu akhi. Al-mu'minu mir'atu akhi. Idha ra'a fihi ayban aslahahu. The people of Iman, the person of Iman is the mirror of his brother. Mir'at. Al-mu'minu mir'atu akhi. The believer is the mirror of his brother. He said, alayhi salatu wasalam, إِذَا رَأَى فِيهِ عَيْبًا أَصْلَحَهُ. If he finds a fault with his brother, he corrects that brother. He rectifies his brother. So this kind of a rectification for his brother is from the aspects of what? An-Naseehah. إِذَا رَأَى فِيهِ عَيْبًا أَصْلَحَهُ. الْمُؤْمِنُ مِرْآةُ أَخِيهِ إِذَا رَأَى فِيهِ عَيْبًا أَصْلَحَهُ. Is that the generation now? Are we in this generation like this? He is the one who wants the brother to make the mistake, because he thinks that when he announces the mistakes of his brother, that is evidence that he is Shaykh, Fadila to Shaykh. The reason to know that he is Fadila to Shaykh is that he can tell you that his brother has made a mistake. Yeah, let me show that Asabi and Pasa. But the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, what should be the condition between the people of Iman is that إِذَا رَأَى فِيهِ عَيْبًا أَصْلَحَهُ. If he finds a fault, if he sees a fault with his brother, he makes effort to rectify his brother. In our own times, إِذَا رَأَى فِي أَخِيهِ عَيْبًا أَظْهَرَهُ. He goes about explaining the mistakes. He made one mistake, with the intention to show that I'm Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. That was the intention. The brother is nearby him, he could correct him. He will leave him aside. The next thing is status. He starts seeing him on status or Facebook posting and things like that. So that is how. That is despite our shouting Salafiyah. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, this hadith is from the hadith of Abu Hurairah. Al-Imam al-Bukhari mentions it in Al-Adab al-Mufrad. Al-mu'minu mir'atu akhi idha ra'a fihi ayban aslah. The Muslim, the mu'min, is the mirror of his brother. What does that mean? What does a mirror do? It makes you see yourself. So you will see your faults. The mirror will show you your faults. If it's a woman, oh no, the powder is too much hair. So you correct it. Oh, it is too much hair. It is with your brother that you recognize your mistakes. So you can correct it. But today, it is with your brother that your mistakes break your back. He makes a mistake, the mistake, it is that his brother who will break his back with the mistake. May Allah protect us. So from the aspects of Naseehah is that he said, rahimahullah, وَمِنْ هَذَا الْبَابِ أَنْ يُقَالَ لِلرَّجُلِ فِي وَجْهِهِ مَا يَكْرَهُ فَإِنْ كَانَ هَذَا عَلَى وَجْهِ النُّصْحِ فَهُوَ حَسَنٌ وَقَدْ قَالَ بَعْضُ السَّلَفِ لِبَعْضِ إِخْوَانِهِ لَا تَنْصَحْنِي حَتَّى تَقُولَ فِي وَجْهِ مَا أَكْرَهُ. He said, rahimahullah, فَإِذَا أخبر الرجل أخاه بعيب ليجتنبه كان ذلك حسنا. إذا أخبر الرجل أخاه بعيب, when a man explains to his brother a mistake that he has seen with him. You saw a mistake with your brother, فأخبرته, and then you inform this your brother, ليجتنبه, so that you can help him avoid that mistake. Kana dhalika hasanan. What you have done is very, very good. That is from the aspects of what? An-Naseehah. Liman ukhbira bi'aybin min uyubihi an ya'tazira minha in kana lahu uzrun. In that case, the onus lies on that brother that you were telling about his mistake. The onus lies on him to do what? Anya atazira minha, to give you the excuse. To give you the excuse for that mistake that he made. Oh yes, I remember that hadith now. But that time when I was talking, I forgot the hadith. Oh, I forget the ruling. Oh, I didn't remember. I didn't even know it like that. So that I can give you an excuse. If you saw me making ruku this afternoon in a particular manner, today, I just want to deliberately say it. If you saw me the way I made ruku at Asr today, is that how I make ruku? But I was feeling a bit uncomfortable, was why I made ruku like that. So if you say, hey, look at the way so person is making ruku, you have made a mistake. But if you tell me, is there a problem why you made ruku like this? I say, I was feeling, I drank a lot of water, so and I felt uncomfortable. That was why my ruku was not straight. How is that? So I can give you, I can tell you my reason why I committed the mistake. You can find this in the hadith of Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman and Abu Qatada al-Ansari. That hadith occurs in the Sunan of Al-Imam Abu Dawud. The two of them were in Al-Madain. and they wanted to observe Salah. One of them went in front, I think Abu Qatada al-Ansari, to lead the Salah. He climbed a height while the rest of the Jama'ah were behind him on a lower platform. Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman grabbed his cloth and pulled him backwards. So he came back. After the Salah, Hudhayfa was saying to Abu Qatada al-Ansari, why did you go to observe Salah on a platform higher than the rest of the Jama'ah? Did you not know that the Prophet ﷺ has prohibited us from doing that? Abu Qatada said, did you not see that once you drew me back, I also came back? Why did he come back? He would have, yes, it's true, I should not have gone on top of that. This is An-Naseehah. So it is the duty of the person who was told about his errors, an ya'tazira minha, to give an excuse. Wallahi ikhwa, many times you forget many things. You know the mas'ala, you know everything about it. They will ask you, you will not remember. In fact, you'll be saying something different from. So it is when someone says, but you used to say, wallahi, I forgot. Either forgetfulness, or that I didn't even know that issue. I thought that this starts giving you excuses. Or why did you behave like this? That is one of the reasons why the aqwal are stronger. As sunanul qawliya is stronger than as sunanul fi'liya. This is one of the reasons. That is with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? Because he will do something, maybe he forgot, maybe. Look at the case in Abasa wa Tawalla. Ja'ahul A'ma. He was thinking about something else, alayhi salatu wasalam, when he was supposed to do something else, alayhi salatu wasalam. So if you now say to your brother, this is your mistake, liman ukhbira bi'aybin min uyubihi, it is now the duty of the person who was told about one of his mistakes, an ya'tazira minha, to give us the excuse for that mistake. In kana lahu minha uzrun, if at all he even has any mistake at all, if at all he even has any excuse at all. Sometimes you don't even have any excuse. I don't have any excuse. He says, وَإِن كَانَ ذَلِكَ عَلَى وَجْهِ التَّوْبِيخِ. But if what you are telling your brother is just to insult him, just to abuse him, see, you ignorant person, look at you. If you are not ignorant, why will you climb something to lead salah to people? Mubtadi buruku, agbako, alai makalasa lasa. These are the expressions your brothers use on social media. They call their brother agbako. The same person that the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, إِذَا رَأَيْتَ فِيهِ عَيْبًا أَصْلَحْتَهُ, is the one that you are calling agbako. Is this one Naseehah or At-Tibyān? You see now. So what was the intention? Was it Naseehah or At-Tibyān? How do you know that it was Tibyān that was the intention? The kalimat, the expressions should have. Your brother is the agbako. Is there anybody called agbako except that that person is upon shirk? O koten pe kefiri ni wọ́n pe Mùsùlùmí. O ko tolo ba nte àwa náà mọ̀. Àwọn ò lè sọ pé agbako le yan, pé ó ti sún mẹ́bọ. Because all that his fisk and fujur are serious. He made a mistake in a mas'ala. Agbako alai makan lasan. What brought us to this? It's very common. It can be between two friends. So is that Naseehah or At-Tibyān? He says, وَإِنْ كَانَ ذَلِكَ عَلَى وَجْهِ التَّوْبِيخِ. So sometimes it can happen to you face to face. That your brother will come and meet you, or you will bihuka. He begins to blame you in front of you, insult you, with them, with a particular indecency that you fell into. A sin you failed, you fell into. A mistake you committed. The Shaykh says this kind of a case is qabihun mazmoom. It's qabih. Really, really distasteful. We don't like it. Mazmoom. It is a blameworthy behavior. Your brother did something, I just saw him. I don't think you have any sense. So this is tawbih. This is not what? An-Naseehah. If you have sense, you will not behave like this. In fact, you answer, I like makalasa. This kind of expression. It is very, very, very common. May Allah protect us. He said, rahimahullah, وَقِيلَ لِبَعْضِ السَّلَفِ. It was said to one of the early Muslims, rahimahullah, أَتُحِبُّ أَن يُخْبِرَكَ أَحَدٌ بِعُيُوبِكَ. One of the early Muslims was asked, أَتُحِبُّ أَن يُخْبِرَكَ أَحَدٌ بِعُيُوبِكَ. Would you like that anybody comes to start telling you about your mistakes? Abu Ruqayya, do you like it? Someone comes and start telling you, these are your mistakes, these are your mistakes. You like it? MashaAllah. You like it? You like someone to start telling you your mistakes? Abu Fulan, yesterday you did like this, bad. Tomorrow you did like this, bad. You like it? Ibn Rajab said, rahimahullah, he's afraid to give me an answer. That was why he was silent. Go. You were silent because you were afraid to give me an answer. I just want to know how people feel. Ikhwa, it's not something that's so easy. You hear what he said, Rahim. And the difference between An-Naseehah and what? At-Tibyān. Ibn Rajab said, rahimahullah, وَكِيلَ لِبَعْضِ السَّلَفِ. One of the early Muslims was asked, أَتُحِبُّ أَن يُخْبِرَكَ أَحَدٌ بِعُيُوبِكَ. Would you like anyone to begin to count your mistakes to you, telling you your errors? فَقَالَ. This Salaf that I found out to be Mis'ar ibn Qidam. Mis'ar ibn Qidam Abu Salama Al-Kufi. He was the one who was asked this question. Mis'ar ibn Qidam. Rahimahullah. Al-Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, when he spoke about Mis'ar, he says, كَانَ ثِقَةً سَبْتًا خِيَارًا. Mis'ar ibn Qidam. He says, كَانَ Ahmad ibn Hanbal. He said, كَانَ ثِقَةً سَبْتًا خِيَارًا. He was a reliable person. Sabta, very well grounded. Khiyara, he was a very noble and righteous person. Rahimahullah. So don't think that it's just one person they were asking. Mis'ar ibn Qidam Abu Salamat al-Kufi was the one who was asked, أَتُحِبُّ أَن يُخْبِرَكَ أَحَدٌ بِعُيُوبِكَ. Would it gladden you? Would you desire that someone begins to tell you about your mistake? He said, rahimahullah, إِن كَانَ يُرِيدُ أَن يُوَبِّخَنِي فَلَا. If his intention is just to insult me, then I don't like it. إِن كَانَ يُرِيدُ أَن يُوَبِّخَنِي. If all that he intends in telling me my mistakes is at-tawbih, insult and demean, fala, I don't like it. So in that case, that would be what? At-Tibyān. If all he intends to say, in fact, you're a very stupid person. Yeah, and then, you know how they speak. May Allah protect us. Something similar to that was asked at Imam Sufyan ibn Uyayna al-Hilali rahimahullah. Qila lahu ayasurruka an yuhda ilayka aybuk. Would you be pleased that you were guided to your mistakes? He said rahimahullah, amma min sadiqin fana'am. If it comes from a friend, okay, yes. Because the friend wants you to become upright. Your true friend wants you to be upright. But he said, وَأَمَّا مِن مُوَبِّخٍ أَوْ شَامِتٍ فَلَا. If it is مِن مُوَبِّخٍ, a person who just wants to insult me, أَوْ شَامِتٍ, someone who is happy that I was making a mistake. You know some of the people, when you make a mistake, they are happy. This is shamit. You will not go to, they say we should do Nāsir. You see what we are saying yesterday? We told you now. He's happy over the mistakes of his brother. This is the shamit. And what he's doing is called what? Shamata. The other one, muwabbikhun, is the one he just wants to insult you. Were you in your senses when you were saying that yesterday? Say, no, what's this that you are saying? No, answer me. Answer yes or no. Did you have your sense when you were speaking yesterday or not? That answer, whether it says yes or no, that question is what? Tawbih. It's an insult. Ayyuhal ikhwa is an insult. Salafiyun. Salafi brothers, it is common with us. It is very, very common. Salafi. That is not the meaning of Salafiyah. May Allah protect us. And Imam Sufyan ibn Uyayna, when he said that, he says, Amma min sadiqin fana'am. If it was a friend, he just wants to tell me my mistakes. Nah, that's okay. That's right. That's correct. I will accept to be guided to my mistakes. Wa amma min muwabbikhin aw shamitin fala. But if the intention is just to insult me and abuse me, don't come and tell me my mistakes. Because you're telling me my mistake is a mistake from you. If it is tawbih and shamata that you want, you're saying it is a sin, and I don't want you to come and commit that sin with respect to me. Ibn Rajab continued and said, Rahimahullah, فَالتَّوْبِيخُ وَالتَّعْيِيرُ بِالذَّنْبِ مَذْمُومٌ. فَالتَّوْبِيخُ, therefore, at-tawbih, insulting somebody, وَالتَّعْيِيرُ, and abusing him, بِالذَّنْبِ, not just a mistake, a sin. He committed a sin and it became a means for you insulting him. He said it is madhmoom. It is something that is dispraised in our religion. وَقَدْ نَهَى النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ وَسَلَّمَ أَنْ يُثَرَّبَ الْأُمَّةُ الزَّانِيَةُ مَعَ أَمْرِهِ بِجَلْدِهَا. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he had prohibited an tutharrab al-amatu al-ama. He had prohibited that an ama, a woman who was a slave woman. The Messenger alayhi salatu salam prohibited this slave woman committed zina. And he alayhi salatu salam commanded that she should be stoned to death. Yet, when she was stoned to death, some of the people were saying negative things about her after that time. In that condition, the Prophet still prohibited alayhi salatu wasalam that people should insult her because of that sin, zina. Someone was stoned to death, found guilty, stoned to death for zina. And the people began to say something negative about her. The Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam said, no, don't speak negative about her. It happened to a man too. I think it was Khalid ibn Walid who finally broke his head when they were stoning that man to death for zina, for adultery. A negative comment came from him. He was still cautioned, don't say that. Faqad tawba tawbata. This man has repented a kind of repentance. If it was distributed amongst the people of Medina, it would be sufficient for them. He did not allow them to insult that man. Adultery. He was being stoned to death. Some people commit less sins, and the brothers use that sin to insult them and abuse them. We say it is Salafiyah. So the Prophet Muhammad prohibited that. So that person committed that sin. فَتُجْلَدُ حَدًّا. He was being flogged in this case. He was being flogged by way of providing that person legal punishment. وَلَا تُعَيَّرُ بِالذَّنْبِ وَلَا تُوَبَّخُ. The Prophet ﷺ prohibited that it should be insulted based on that sin, or that it should be abused because of that sin. Today it is even mistakes, simple mistakes people make, they use it to abuse the person who made the mistake. They use it as a means of insulting, not by way of seeking to correct or help rectify the person who made that mistake. وَفِي التِّرْمِذِي, inshallah, will come in the next chapter. He said, وَفِي التِّرْمِذِي وَغَيْرِهِ مَرْفُوعًا. Al-Imam At-Tirmidhi reports this hadith marfu'an from the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. That occurs from the hadith of Mu'adh ibn Jabal wa ghayrihi and others amongst the companions. Man ayyara akhahu bi dhanbin lam yamut hatta ya'malahu. Man ayyara akhahu bi dhanbin. Whoever employs a sin that his brother committed as a means of insulting him, this hadith says, Lam yamut hatta ya'malahu. That person insulting him with that sin, he will not die until and unless he himself will commit that sin. He employs a sin to insult his brother. You who stole yesterday, and this person has stopped stealing. He has made tawbah away from stealing. You useless woman who yesterday you were doing attachment to your hair. So you use that her past or his past to deliberately cause him mental injury. This narration says, Lam yamut hatta ya'malahu. That person would not die until he himself will find himself committing that sin. This hadith actually occurs in Sunan At-Tirmidhi and in other books of hadith, but it is a weak hadith. This hadith is weak. He said, rahimahullah, وَحُمِلَ ذَلِكَ عَلَى الذَّنْبِ الَّذِي تَابَ مِنْهُ صَاحِبُهُ. This hadith was explained to mean and refer to a sin that that person has already repented from. So the early Muslims, Al-Imam Ahmad was the one who said that, and Al-Imam At-Tirmidhi mentioned that statement in his Sunnah. The early Muslims don't like you to use a sin to insult somebody. He was committing it before. Today he's not committing it again. You use it to insult, use it to abuse. You that you are a prostitute, you are this, you that you are this, you that you are. To insult the person. The intention is just to insult him and abuse him. No other than that. And this man had repented away from that sin. Or somebody uses a mistake somebody made 10 years ago, 15 years ago. He has now grown up. He had learned more and abandoned all those kinds of thoughts. And then you say, no, he said it 10 years ago. As long as he has said it, then he's inside it. May Allah protect each and every one of us. I think it will suffice for a lesson today. Al-Imam Fudail ibn Iyad said, rahimahullah, Al-mu'minu yasturu wa yansahu. Al-mu'minu yasturu wa yansahu. Wal-fajiru yahatiku wa yu'ayyiru. Al-mu'minu yasturu wa yansahu wal-fajiru yahtiku wa yu'ayyiru. The person of Iman, yasturu wa yansahu, he covers the faults of his brother. Wa yansahu, he goes to only advise him if there's need for him to advise. I think this brother, he now needs to be advised. He now needs to be talked to. He now needs to be counseled. He now needs good advice. He needs to be admonished and sermonized. A person of Iman, yasturu, he will cover that brother's faults. Wa yansahuhu, and then he will give him good advice. Wa ammal faj, as for the faj, the criminal, yahtiku wa yu'ayyiru, he will destroy that privacy, expose his brother to the whole world. Wa yu'ayyiru, and he will use that mistake to be abusing him. Who does that? Al-Fajr, the criminal. That's the way they behave. Yahatiku wa yu'ayyiru. He destroys his brother's privacy. That mistake his brother committed, he announces it to the rest of the world. Expose. Bam. Bush. Bush. If it was a mistake. And you think it's a bomb, he's flashing. Yahatiku, he wants to destroy their privacy. It was something it is possible that he corrects. So Al-Fajiru Yahatiku wa yu'ayyiru. And then he uses the mistake against that his brother. That's evidence that such persons are fujar, fajirun, criminals. As for the people of Iman, al-mu'minu yasturu wa yansahu. The person of Iman finds his brother's mistakes. He covers his mistakes. He sits with him. He begins to tell you, you made this mistake. You can correct this. Correct this. I think it will be sufficient for us to stop here today, bi'idhnillah. Ibn Rajab said, rahimahullah, فَهَذَا الَّذِي ذَكَرَهُ الْفُضَيْلُ مِنْ عَلَامَاتِ النُّصْحِ وَالتَّعْيِيرِ. What Al-Imam Fudail ibn Iyad has mentioned here, that al-mu'minu yasturu wa yansahu min alamati nushi. So what is from the alamat of an-nush? As mother yasturuhu wa yansahuhu wa ta'yir. What is the alamat of at-ta'yir? Al-hatku wa ta'yir. He will destroy the privacy, expose his innocent brother who only made a mistake. Wa yu'ayyiru. He begins to employ those shortcomings to insult his brother. He says, فَهَذَا الَّذِي ذَكَرَهُ الْفُضَيْلُ مِنْ عَلَامَاتِ النُّصْحِ وَالتَّعْيِيرِ وَهُوَ أَنَّ النُّصْحَ يَقْتَرِنُ السَّتْرُ أو يَقْتَرِنُ السَّطْرَ أو يَقْتَرِنُ بِهِ السَّتْرُ. We sometimes don't see well like before again. وَهُوَ أَنَّ النُّصْحَ يَقْتَرِنُ بِهِ السَّتْرُ. That alama of An-Naseehah is that يَقْتَرِنُ بِهِ السَّتْرُ. Something connected to Naseehah is that preserving the privacy of your brother will be connected to it. Naseehah usually involves preserving, covering up that his faults. وَالتَّعْيِيرَ يَقْتَرِنُ بِهِ الْإِعْلَانِ. When the man, these are from the alamat, but when the man actually intends at-ta'yir, insults, demean, abuse and all that, يَقْتَرِنُ بِهِ الْإِعْلَانِ. One of the things you will find out together with that advice will come is, generally, everybody come and hear, everybody come and see. Goes to Facebook, goes to social media, goes to status. Hey, this person is a thief. He stole somebody's money. They went to house together. So many things you start saying. What he's doing is at-ta'yir. And that is not from the aspects of what? An-Naseehah. I hope that this will suffice for a lesson. I've said this now a number of times, but I continue to read along. I think we can stop here, inshallah. At least we have seen some alamat, differences between what? An-Naseehah and what? At-Ta'yir. You see, An-Naseehah would always come with what? As-Satru. Yaqtarinu bihi السطر. وأما التوبيخ والتعيير يقترن به الهتك. One of the things that come together with at-ta'yir is hatku. You destroy, you break the bounds, remove it, disgrace it, bring it out in the public. May Allah protect us from all evils. So sometimes people will make at-ta'yir. They want you to accept it as nasiha. And sometimes too, you will be giving nasiha, but you will be thinking that it is what? At-ta'yir. So it is good to know the difference between An-Naseehah and what? At-Tibyān. This has to do with teachers and students. It has to do with two friends, two colleagues. It has to do with one elder, one younger person. It has to do with the husband and the wife. It has to do with the boss and the subordinate. How you handle each other's faults. Some of it you will see it is Naseehah. Some of it you will see it is what? At-Tibyān. The Oga and the driver. You are a boss, you have a driver. You know how some people relate with their drivers? When the driver makes a mistake, Share Nani. If he tells him Share Nani, is that Nasiha or At-Tibyān? How about you are supposed to have seen, you didn't look well, you didn't look mirror, you don't just say it's At-Tibyān. If it is An-Naseehah, please be careful, sir. Oh, you did see, oh sorry that you didn't see. This is nothing. Maybe sometimes you need to actually look beyond the mirror. This is Nasiha. But you did not see it. Oju inform sir. This sir that he has added is the sir of hypocrisy. You Obama Shiru Ekoju. Esa Oda Piori Yoke. Especially in Lagos. Sorry, Lagos brothers. It's very common in Lagos. Yes, sir. Uri Darusa. He says sa, and he's telling the man we pay Uri that. May Allah protect us. So there's always a difference between what An-Naseehah and what At-Tibyān. فَمِنْ عَلَامَاتِ النَّصِيحَةِ أَنْ يَقْتَرِنَ بِهِ السَّطْرُ. From the aspects of An-Naseehah is privacy is always together with it. And from the aspects of At-Tawbīkh is that Al-Hatku, destroy his privacy, is always together with it. Then I'm going to show exposure, expose. So, expose. So he said that is manhaj salaf. Those now throw a bomb, expose, like somebody acting a film. May Allah protect us from all these evils. I think we can take one or two questions before we call it a day. What if an insult was directed to a person by abusing him because of some deficiency in his body? Is it counted as ta'yir? Yes. The deficiency can be bodily deficiencies. Maybe the man has a long neck. Maybe he has a big head. Maybe he has big chest. Maybe he has big tummy. They begin to abuse him. Look at his big head. Look at his big tummy. Look at his big eyes. When we were younger than this, in Pidgin English, they say, see big eye like Inshallah. Do you know what is Inshallah? You know what is Inshallah? In the riverine areas, in the saltwater areas, if you have ever lived in the riverine area, there is a small black fish. It's usually on the riverside. Small, black. Do you know where it thrives? You know, in those riverine areas, they make a stick on which we ease ourselves, you defecate. That fish, it is when you are defecating, the fish will come. It enjoys it to be rolling inside it like this. That fish is very sweet too. We call that fish Inshallah. So Inshallah has very big eyes like this. People, if you've lived in the Niger Delta before, I was born amongst the Jaws. The eyes are big like this. So it's a big eye like Inshallah. This is At-Tibyān. Ta'yir for the person, ta'yir for Inshallah. Because that fish, wallah, is very sweet. The fresh one, not the dry one. And those big eyes, if you are eating, peppered inshallah, when you put the head, if you cut the head together with a spoon of rice, with some stew, you will enjoy the eyes of inshallah. Inshallah enjoys to stay inside that place. It is when you are actually doing it, inshallah will come. It will start rolling inside it like this. It's very nice if you catch it. So forget about where you saw inshallah. You will enjoy it too. So sometimes the defect may be bodily defect. If you abuse him with it, it is part of the aspects of at-ta'ir. You go and create your own that does not have defect. If he is big head, create your own small head. And Allah told us that لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. That is the one you are calling big head. Don't worry. سَنَكْتُبُ مَا يَقُولُونَ. Allah said, don't worry. All those things you are saying, we are writing them down. What did he say after that? He will come back and repeat it on the day of Qiyamah. May Allah protect us. Let's take the last question now. Alaykum salam. You say what? Someone does what? Someone wants to get married.
And then he's making findings about that person. And then he asks a close friend, that how is this person? Now, I know that my friend has some attributes that are not okay. Like maybe like some things that he's trying to change. If I say it out, like I'm like, all these things are not good.
Say it out to who?
To the people that ask.
Okay.
Is it considered
at-ta'ir?
Say his bad to the people that, even though I know he's trying to change, but he has not changed.
Even if he has not changed.
Yes, but he's trying to change.
Yes. Take it that he has not changed.
Okay, he has not changed.
Yes. It may even be compulsory on you to say it. That if you don't say it, Allah can punish the person who did not say it.
What if he has changed? If I say it, this will have done it.
If you have changed, if he has changed and you knew that he has changed and you still said it about him, you have told a lie. But if you don't know whether he has changed, then you have not told a lie. You have just been acting upon the basic thing you knew about him before that. We have addressed that in this class many times on these issues. That does not form from the aspects of at-ta'ir or al-ghiba. It is not from it, so don't be afraid. If they say your own too, they have not committed a sin. Have you married? No. That is the question of bachelors. Brothers who are not married, every halqa they go to, their problem is about nikah. Every halqa. Last week, somebody was asking, his sister was interested in